It's Wednesday, the 9th of April. So let's get into boxing events that just happened. So it was a pretty decent weekend of boxing. So what do we have? We had Tszyu versus Spencer. We had Joyce versus Hrgovic. And then we also had... who else did we have? Janibek as well. So Janibek also won his fight. So Tszyu, yep, I won't go too far into Tszyu because I did already make a video. So if you want more detail on my thoughts on the Tszyu fight, Tszyu versus Spencer fight, then just go check that video out. But all in all, I think it was a good fight. It was a good comeback fight after losing so dramatically last year. But now the question is just who is he going to fight next? And it's looking at Thurman, the Towering Inferno. So I guess we'll wait and see who he's actually going to fight next. That's going to be the big question, which I'm sure that'll come out soon. I think they're looking at July for that fight. So Joey Spencer now goes to 19 wins and 2 losses. So he's unfortunately suffered another loss, but hey, he's 25, he's young. He can still come back from this. I don't know, he was a promising young fighter before, but it seems like he's not meeting his expectations in terms of what they expected from him. But that's all right, that happens. And then we move on to Tim's record. So Tim's now sitting at 25 wins and 2 losses, with 18 of those wins coming via way of knockout. So he's back on the path, the winning circle. So we'll see how he goes. If he can continue to win, because that's what he needs to do. So potentially Thurman or the Towering Inferno or both. But we'll see what happens when they announce that for potentially July. And here's what the rankings are looking like now in the junior middleweight division. So Bakhramat Azaliev with that IBF title. Terence Crawford still sitting as the champion for the WBA title. Then we have Sebastian Fundora, who holds the WBC and the WBO titles. So if Tim's able to get a chance of actually fighting Sebastian Fundora again, then he could potentially be fighting for the 2 belts to unify the division. So yeah, see what happens. And then obviously Janibek won on the weekend as well. So if you move up to the middleweight division, in the left-hand column here, IBF, and also the right-hand column here, the WBO, Janibek holds them 2 titles. So Tim did mention that he was considering going up after 12 months. So this is a division that he's looking at if he does go up in terms of the champions. So you got Janibek, and then you got Lara as well, who's a decent fighter, but he's an older fighter. So who knows how long he's going to be there for. And then you got Carlos Ademas, so who's a decent fighter as well. But I don't think the division is as stacked as the junior middleweight division. Although Terence Crawford is going up to fight Canelo, so that releases one of the dangerous fighters, I guess, in the division. So yep, Janibek now goes to 17 undefeated, 17 wins and 12 KOs after that 5th round KO on the weekend. So that was a decent fight for Janibek, and he got a decent KO, so he did well for that one. And then also, yeah, we had Hrgovic beating Joyce, which was nothing really impressive, that fight. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was just a bit of a slugfest. Joyce is just a slow puncher, and Hrgovic obviously was able to land some good shots and come away with the unanimous decision. So Joyce is just tough, so he was just taking those shots from Hrgovic. But it is what it is. I don't know. I wasn't really that impressed with the fight, but I think people like champions like Alexander Usyk is in another class compared to both of them. So whether they will be, whether Hrgovic will be fighting for a world title anytime soon, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of other people in line to fight either Triple D or Alexander Usyk. I mean, you got people like Joyce, who probably deserves a title shot. So we'll see what happens with that in the heavyweight division. But then, yeah, also other news come out recently, I think a day or two ago, I think it was yesterday, Bivol vacating his WBC title. So he's vacated his WBC title, and now David Benavidez is a WBC champion in the light heavyweight division. The reasoning for Bivol doing this is to fight Beterbiev again, to have that third fight with Beterbiev again. I think it's just, for Bivol, I think it's just more important for him to actually have that over Beterbiev than actually have Undisputed. So they're both 1-1. So it just shows the type of fighter or person that Bivol is. The fact that he's happy to give up his Undisputed title claim and give up his WBC title to fight Beterbiev again, to try and have it over him and say, hey, I've beaten you twice, potentially, if he wins. So that's an interesting one that's come out. So now David Benavidez is a champion. So how does that look? I don't know. I'm assuming that David Benavidez will be lined up next to fight the winner of Beterbiev versus Bivol, which will be an interesting clash. If it's David Benavidez versus Beterbiev or Bivol, that's a fight I want to see. I wouldn't mind seeing that. So if you look at the division, so yep, David Benavidez obviously now the champion. So they've changed that now. But he's also the regular WBA champion. So, and then if you go down the division, you also see Canelo Alvarez, who holds the 3 belts, the WBA, WBC, and WBO, and is fighting for the IBF title against William Skull. So that will be his fight that he'll have prior to fighting Terence Crawford. So once Terence Crawford will move up at the end of the year, Terence Crawford won't have a fight at the super middleweight division. He'll just jump in and fight Canelo, which is, to me, is crazy. There's no warm-up fight. He's just jumping straight in with Canelo. So I don't know how that's going to go. But anyway, Canelo's got a 4-fight deal, I'm pretty sure. So William Skull being the first, and then we have Terence Crawford. And then I don't know who's next. I'm assuming that potentially David Benavidez could be in there, because this is all arranged from Turki Al-Sheikh. And if Turki Al-Sheikh, if you look at the past and what Turki Al-Sheikh's been able to give the boxing fans, I think it's highly likely that he'll want to give the boxing fans David Benavidez versus Canelo. Because I kind of think that's the fight that everyone's wanted Canelo to take, but he hasn't taken it. He's taken a lot of other fights instead of taking that fight. So yeah, I think Turki Al-Sheikh, that will be one that's probably in the cards. Canelo versus David Benavidez. But then also Canelo might even want to fight Bivol. Like, who knows? Because this is all under the Turki Al-Sheikh. Even Bivol and Beterbiev. So it's all under Turki Al-Sheikh. So I think he'll call the cards, he'll call the shots, and he'll determine who's going to fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if David Benavidez is in that 4-fight deal, even if it's the last one. Because how much longer will Canelo go after this 4-fight deal? I'm not too sure. Maybe David Benavidez will be his last fight before retiring. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a 4-fight deal. So that's an interesting one. And we move on to the weekend. So we have Jerome Innes versus Stenionis. So this is going to be a interesting, decent fight, I think. This is a unification fight. So I think this will... So whoever wins this is going to hold the two belts. Jerome Boots Innes likely to win it, but I mean, who knows? This is boxing and it can go either way. Let me just see what titles Stenionis has. I think it might be the WBO Stenionis WBA. So WBA Stenionis holds. So Jerome Innes holds the IBF. So those two belts will be unified after this weekend. That's going to be an interesting clash. And because I'm not working this weekend, I've got nothing on, I'm going to live stream it. So if you're around on the weekend, tune in and I'll live stream the whole fight card because I've got nothing else to do. So why not? Yeah, this should be a decent fight. Anyway, that's all I've really got. This is just a quick live stream, this one. I'm going to continue to do these live streams each Wednesday. I couldn't do it last Wednesday. I didn't get back in time. I had stuff on. But that's the only one that I've missed so far. I've only missed one Wednesday. But that's all right. That's going to happen. But I want to continue to do them at this time and every Wednesday. And then whatever big fights I can live stream, I will aim to live stream all the big fights because that's what I enjoy the most, calling the fights. And especially when I get a lot of viewers. I'm entertained by the comments from people when I get those big live streams. Anyway, quick live stream. This is only a fast one this time. And yeah, I'll be live streaming on the weekend. So stay tuned if you're around. And until next time, peace out.